What if every nuclear bomb on Earth detonated in a single instant? Not one, not 10, all 13,000 warheads at once. Would cities vanish? Would the sky ignite? Would any life remain? It sounds like pure apocalypse nightmare, but the science behind it? Astoundingly real. So ask yourself, is total annihilation theater or terrifyingly possible? Let's press play on humanity's darkest what if. We often hear nuclear weapons are terrifying, but almost impossible to use all at once. So why imagine a scenario where they have? Because thinking through it helps us understand the fragility of our world and the consequences of global conflict pushed to an extreme. We'll walk through what happens in the first seconds, the first 24 hours, and beyond, drawing on real physics, blast modeling, and historical data. We'll look at firestorms, radiation, global famine, but also the whispers of hope in human survival instincts. We asked early nuclear scientists in the 1940s what might happen if hundreds of bombs dropped simultaneously. They didn't gulp. They calculated. And now so will we. Just with visuals that don't lie, and a tone that feels balanced, fearful but curious. If you ever wondered, what if we really pushed the button? This next hour is for you. Imagine the Earth, serene in its orbit. Then 13,000 nuclear warheads detonate at once. In the first second, a flash brighter than 1,000 suns ignites across every continent. Night becomes day. Day becomes blinding oblivion. The initial thermal radiation vaporizes everything within a 5 kilometers radius of each detonation. Concrete melts. Human shadows burn into walls, permanently etched like the ghostly prints left in Hiroshima. Within 5 seconds, shockwaves ripple outward at speeds over 300 meters per second, flattening buildings, uprooting forests, and turning entire cities into pulverized dust. Every window on Earth shatters. You wouldn't hear the explosion. You'd be obliterated before the sound arrived. In places like Moscow, Washington, D.C., Beijing, New Delhi, and Paris, each home to multiple warheads, fireballs the size of city blocks consume the sky. The surface temperature reaches tens of millions of degrees Celsius, momentarily mimicking the sun. Asphalt boils. Steel structures liquefy. Human survival? Not a chance. At the 20-second mark, overlapping shockwaves meet across the globe. Earthquakes register on every seismograph. The crust groans. If detonated on or near fault lines, these blasts could trigger real seismic chain reactions. Tsunamis, landslides, volcanoes. The sky now glows orange, not from sunset, but from burning cities across every hemisphere. By second 30, the Earth's upper atmosphere is scarred. A global electromagnetic pulse, EMP, fries satellites, shuts down the internet, disables all aircraft, and kills every electronic system not underground or shielded. Even pacemakers fail. Your phone, dead. Power grid, dead. Civilization, already crumbling. And this is just the first half minute. Hour 1. The sky is no longer blue. It's a shifting, churning mass of black and red. Every nuclear warhead has released not just destructive force, but fallout. Billions of radioactive particles, ash, and debris now spiral into the upper atmosphere, forming a dark global shroud. If you're not in the blast zone, you still don't survive for long. Gamma radiation travels silently, invisibly, burning DNA, shredding blood cells, causing nausea, vomiting, and death within hours. In cities miles from the detonation, people collapse in the streets. Those who sought shelter begin to understand, this isn't just an attack. It's extinction. Hour 3. Firestorms rage uncontrolled. Without electricity or firefighters, entire nations become open furnaces. Wind speeds increase as heat pulls in cold air. This fuels the infernos, creating nuclear tornadoes. Spiraling columns of flame hundreds of feet high. Birds fall from the sky. Animals stampede in vain. The scent of burning plastic, rubber, and flesh chokes every breath. Hour 12. The first wave of the nuclear winter begins. Sunlight dims. Global temperatures drop by 3 to 5 degrees Celsius in mere hours. Crops begin to fail. Photosynthesis slows. Every country on Earth, no matter how remote, feels the impact. Even Antarctica gets darker. Hour 24. The Earth is no longer a blue marble. From orbit, it resembles a dying ember. Clouded, muted, scarred. The atmosphere is thick with soot and stratospheric smoke, reflecting sunlight, poisoning rain, and distorting the weather. Global climate systems begin to collapse. Famine is inevitable. Society as we knew it, it's already gone. And the true horror? This is just day one. Still with us? Great. Let's go full science mode. What happens when 13,000 nukes detonate in rapid succession? The physics is terrifying, but grounded. Each detonation produces an expanding fireball and a shockwave. These events generate intense thermal radiation, ionizing particles, and a spike in gamma rays. But here's the kicker: the atmospheric injection. Soot and aerosols from burning cities would rise into the stratosphere, where they don't easily come down. NASA's climate models show that 5 megatons of black carbon could lower global temperatures by 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius. Now multiply that by hundreds, and we're pushing Earth toward ice age conditions in just weeks. A study from Rutgers University estimated that a large-scale nuclear war could reduce global calorie production by 90%, starving billions within 2 years. Also, here's a thought experiment. To simulate the full blast in a supercomputer at quantum detail would require more energy than Earth receives from the Sun in a year. So ironically, simulating all nukes going off might be harder than actually doing it. Now add in the fallout. Radioactive isotopes like cesium-137 and strontium-90 would contaminate soil and water for decades. Wildlife, gone. Agriculture, collapsed. Infrastructure, pulverized. Joke time, on the bright side, your cell phone signal will finally drop, for good. Also, the ozone layer. Kiss it goodbye. The result, lethal UV radiation, even after skies begin to clear. The science doesn't just describe how the world ends, it shows how long it would take to even partially recover. And spoiler, it's not in our lifetime. Now that we've dissected the data, let's go deeper into the emotional core of this catastrophe. Next up, the paradox of nuclear peace. Here's the strange paradox of nuclear weapons. The very tools that can destroy humanity have arguably helped preserve peace. This idea is called mutually assured destruction, MAD. The notion that no one launches nukes because everyone dies. It's like two people in a room holding flamethrowers pointed at each other's faces. Nobody wants to move first. But here's where it gets weird. Despite how unstable geopolitics can be, we've never had a full-scale nuclear exchange. The Cuban Missile Crisis came terrifyingly close. Yet, for over 75 years, the weapons meant for annihilation have mostly gathered dust.
Why?
Because their consequences are so unimaginably final, they forced world leaders to think twice. Even the worst enemies know, a nuclear war has no winners. Now flip that on its head. The same weapons we rely on for peace are also the ones that could end civilization in less than an hour. And the more nations that possess them, the more unpredictable the system becomes. Here's a troubling thought experiment. What if just one actor, one glitch, or one AI misjudgment sets things off? The terrifying part isn't that we're constantly about to launch. It's that we're one misunderstanding away from catastrophe. It's this razor's edge that defines the nuclear paradox. They keep us safe. They keep us terrified. They make war unthinkable until someone thinks about it. And unlike other forms of warfare, nuclear escalation can't be undone. There's no second chance. Let's now explore what it would all mean, not just for governments, but for us, as humans standing on the edge of such unimaginable power. So what does all of this mean for us, the 8 billion people living under a sky quietly loaded with annihilation? It means we're living in a paradox where the ultimate tools of destruction are also symbols of restraint, where peace isn't guaranteed by goodwill, but by fear. But maybe there's another angle. Nuclear weapons are uniquely human. They're not natural disasters, not acts of God. They are things we made. And because we made them, we can choose not to use them. Maybe that's where hope lives, in choice. It's easy to feel small when talking about apocalyptic fireballs and global winter. But behind every missile silo, every red button, there are human systems, run by human hands. And humans, for all our chaos, are also capable of incredible restraint. The broader meaning, We've spent decades building the capacity to end everything, and yet, we haven't. That alone is a strange kind of miracle. Still, nuclear weapons remind us how fragile our civilization really is. It runs on invisible agreements, on diplomacy, on sanity. But fragility isn't the same as weakness. It just means we have something precious, and keeping it safe takes constant effort. We can't uninvent these weapons, but maybe we can outgrow them. And that, perhaps, is our next great evolutionary leap. Not technological, but ethical. So, what happens if we detonate all nuclear bombs at once? We don't crack the planet in half. We don't vaporize Earth into space dust. But we do shatter the systems that make life possible. Food chains, climate, infrastructure, and civilization itself. The sky darkens. Crops fail. Cities disappear. And we're left with a frozen, irradiated world ruled not by fire, but silence. This isn't just a doomsday scenario, it's a mirror. One reflecting the razor-thin line between order and oblivion, between restraint and ruin. Here's the mic drop. We engineered the power of stars and decided to lock it away. That choice, fragile as it is the only thing standing between life as we know it and life as a memory. And that's what makes it so important. Because as long as we have the power to end everything, we also have the responsibility not to. And that's a decision we make every single day. If you found this simulation terrifying, fascinating, or oddly beautiful, you're one of us. Subscribe to Mindverse for more journeys into strange science, moral paradoxes, and the edge of human understanding. We dive deep into the cosmos, consciousness, and the weird stuff in between, always with facts, visuals, and a little existential dread. Drop your theory in the comments. Would anyone survive this apocalypse? And if you're brave enough, watch our next episode. It's even more mind-bending than this one.